21st September 2023. Morning Murli. Om Shanti. BapDada. Madhuban. Sweet children, as long as souls are playing their parts, they cannot take 100% rest. They take a rest in the land of Nirvana, where there is no part to play. Question: what thoughts do the children who became tired of studying have, which then became sinful thoughts? Answer: first point, they have thoughts of leaving the Father, that is, of divorcing the Father. Baba says to have this thought is to have a sinful thought. It is a sin to have such a thought. Not to study means to become tired. Such children spoil their income. Second one, if you sulk with the mother and father due to any situation, you lose the sovereignty of 21 births. Song: people of today are in the darkness. Om Shanti. This is a song and a prayer of the path of devotion. Whom do they pray to? To God. But because of being in extreme darkness, they don't know God. So, who will listen to them? Only when God hears their call can He come and ignite their lights. However, children don't know God, so how can He hear them? You are now sitting personally in front of Him. God is taking you from extreme darkness into extreme light. It is remembered the night of Brahma and the day of Bramha. They wander around a lot from door to door in the night. They go to the mountains, religious places, temples, and mosques, etc. But where would anyone find God? People celebrate the birth of God in Bharat. They speak of the night of Shiv. There truly are images as memorials of Him in Bharat. But they don't understand when He comes. They are completely in the dark. You are no longer in complete darkness. You are content to come into the light, number-wise, according to the efforts you make. Your children know who creates this whole world and how He creates it. You have come here to this world, spiritual university, where God is teaching you and making you into deities from human beings. Among you two, you understand this knowledge number-wise. Some understand very well, whereas others who don't understand fully run away. They sulk with the mother and father. Of such ones, it is remembered that they were the ones who were amazed and who then began to sulk with the mother and father. They liked this knowledge, they relate it to others, and then they became those who sulk. You know that you received the sovereignty of heaven from the mother and father for 21 births, and yet you forget Him. Baba has explained that what you call peace can only be received in the land of peace, the land of Nirvana. That is also called the land of liberation. If some say that they are at 100% rest, there is no such thing. Throughout the day, they definitely perform one type of action or another. Yes, they can call sleep at night temporary rest because the soul says, having worked through the whole day, I am tired and so I am now taking a rest. The soul detaches himself. You know that the Father resides in the land of peace, and you understand that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, stays there at the rest. God is at rest when He doesn't have a part to play. No one does any work in the land of liberation. Thus matters have to be understood. The locks on your intellects are now continuing to open. The Father asks, do you know when I am at rest? When your children are in heaven, in happiness. There you have peace and happiness. That is not called rest. You can say you are at rest when you don't have a part to play. When you are in heaven, I don't have to make any effort. I stay there means at home, in peace. Another name for peace, there is rest. You cannot stay at rest here. The soul says, I am at rest when I go to sleep at night. At that time, whether I am at rest or in peace, it is the same thing. You become bodiless at night. You become peaceful. Then, when you wake up, you start to act and you are then at unrest. When performing any act, you experience unrest, means restlessness. In the golden age, there is no question of unrest. It is Maya that makes you restless, means unrest. There you would not say that you are at rest. While doing all your work, you don't remain peaceless. The word rest doesn't exist there. For instance, someone might say, I am going to Simla for a rest. But that is not the meaning of at rest. True rest is when we are in the land of Nirvana. There we remain silent. In fact, there is no rest. When someone says that he is at 100% rest, it is wrong. That is called arrogance. Yes, it would definitely be said, if someone doesn't want to study, he takes a rest. Not to study and to take a rest means you are tired. You then spoil your own income. It is said, O traveler of the night, don't become worrying while walking on the path to heaven. Don't sulk. The thought of divorcing the mother and father should not even arise. If you have that thought, it is a sinful thought. Why should you have such a thought about the mother and father from whom you receive the kingdom of heaven? Sometimes some write, I sometimes have a thought of leaving the study. I can't understand anything. Oh, but this is the time to understand, is it not? To understand means to study. You know that we are studying. No one knows the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who is the ocean of knowledge, the highest on high. Although the people of Bharat know Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, and Lakshmi and Narayan, they don't know when Lakshmi and Narayan claimed their kingdom or who gave it to them. Maya has put everyone into extreme darkness. The Father comes and explains how the Father creates the human world. No one knows this at all. The Father alone sits here and explains Prajapita Brahma cannot be called the creator. Although he is called the father of people, he is not the creator. Some people say that Allah created them. Only the incorporeal Father would be called the creator. It is only human beings who can know the Father, the creator. Animals could not know him. Animals couldn't say that the Supreme Soul created them. Human beings would say that God created them. So the Father sits here and explains, look how this creation is created. First of all, there is a mouth-born creation. Children have to grow up and then become fathers. That unlimited Father says, look how I too create creation. I enter this one and tell him through his mouth, O soul, you belong to me. I am your Father. Then I create your children through him. You are mouth-born creation. On the path of ignorance, it is said, however I am, whatever I am yours. The Father also says this, you became the children of Brahma. You are now mouth-born creations and you will then become physical creations. The Father says, you belong to me and you will then go into the deity clan. No one can understand how the Father creates this godly creation. The Father explains, and thus Brahma also says, I too became a mouth-born creation. Together with the Father, a mother is definitely needed. You say that you are mouth-born creations of Prajapita Brahma, and that Shivbaba has made you belong to him. He definitely needs a body, does he not? Shivbaba doesn't have a body of his own. He takes a body on loan. He then says, "You belong to me." This is called a mouth-born creation. Shivbaba says through this mouth, through his wife, "You are my children." Only the Father explains these things. These things are not mentioned in the scriptures, etc. You listen to these things now, and they will then disappear. At this time, there is extreme darkness. The Father comes and brings light, and this is why the night of Brahma and the day of Brahma are remembered. At least, something exists. It is sung, "When there is falsehood, there is nothing but falsehood, and not a trace of truth." However, the Father says, one thing or another remains. There isn't an alienation. A few will remain, and the tree will then begin to grow. People have shown a great annihilation, but a great annihilation does not take place. It isn't that a child comes floating in the ocean or a people leave. All of those things are lies. The Father has explained, when you come from the palace of a worm there, you remain in bliss. There is no sorrow or sinful acts there. That is a world of charitable souls, whereas this is a world of sinful souls. You renounce everything here and become charitable souls. For all time, you perform so much charity that for half a cycle, no one would call you a sinful soul. You become imperishable, charitable souls. Then for half a cycle, you are called sinful souls. You repeatedly perform charity and make donations. Bharat is called completely righteous. It is in Bharat that they make donations and perform charity. You know that we are going to leave this world and will not come back here. You are transferring the materials of this world to the new world. People offer everything to God. That is to transfer it to their next birth. Here, you transfer everything for 21 births. So a lot is needed. He takes all your rubbish from you and gives you everything new. He takes all your old things from you and gives you golden things. You give to the Father with honesty, and then the Father also gives you everything. Your parts that have continued are fixed in the drama. Everyone renounced their homes. How else would the cowshed have been created? People don't know how the furnace was created. They show that there were kittens in a furnace. Your children have all of this knowledge at this time. This knowledge will not then remain there. There, you won't have the knowledge that you will rule a kingdom for 21 births and then fall. It is now that you have the parts of being Trikaldarshi. It is only you who have the main parts of heroes and heroines. No one else has this parts. It is only you people of Bharat who change from devils into deities and deities into devils. All the rest are byplots in between. In a play, they have amusing parts in the middle. After half a cycle, the deity relation disappears. This whole cycle continues to turn around in your intellects, and this is why you are able to explain. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is God, the one who resides in the Supreme Abode. The Father says, "I have all of this knowledge in me. I am the living seed of the human world tree." Those are non-living seeds, whereas Shiv is the living seed. His image is worshipped. Nowadays, the government plants tree saplings. This is the living seed. He is called the seed of the tree of the human world. I have the knowledge of the whole tree. When someone says that he is at 100% rest, you should explain that there can never be 100% rest. Yes, it can be said that there is 100% purity, happiness, and peace in heaven. The very name is heaven. The Father is called Sat Shri Akal. He is the one who speaks the truth. Death never comes to him. He is called the death of all deaths. The father says, this is a dirty world. This haystack definitely has to be set on fire. You children know that this Mahabharat war is greatly beneficial. People create sacrificial fires for peace. That is, they don't want the gates of heaven to open. You clap your hands for the haystack to be set on the fire so that you can go to the new world of paradise. The flames of destruction emerge from the sacrificial fire of the knowledge of Rudra. Those who belong to the Father will become the masters of heaven. All the rest have to settle their karmic accounts and return home. You know that you now have to return to the land of liberation, and that you then have to repeat your paths. Where did all of those deities of the golden age come from? It is said it didn't take God long to change human beings into deities. He changes you from shells into diamonds, from impure to pure, to the extent that someone imbibes knowledge, so he accordingly claims our status. A kingdom is being established. You know that you're establishing heaven for yourselves by following Srimad. If someone sulks with Srimad and follows the dictates of his own mind, those would be the dictates of Ravan. This is why you have to continue to take Srimad at every step. The Father makes you into trustees for as long as you live. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, BapDada. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, become a complete donor. Surrender everything to the Father with honesty and transfer it to the new world. Second point, become a trustee for as long as you live. Take Srimad from the Father at every step. Never sulk with Srimad or follow the dictates of your own mind. Blessing. May you be a helper of God and experience God's magic in doing service by being in a combined form. Explanation. Do not just consider yourselves to be a server, but do service while considering yourselves to be a godly server. By your having this awareness, remembrance and service will automatically be combined. When you separate God from His service, that you do because you become alone, the destination of success seems far away. Therefore, do not just consider yourselves to be a helper, but that you are a godly helper. Always remember your name, and service will automatically be filled with God's magic, and anything impossible will become possible. Slogan. In order to become a karma yogi, be seated on your lotus seat means be detached and loving. Om Shanti.